Hi everybody, this is a quick tutorial in the Celtic Cross. This Celtic Cross that I am using is so beneficial because it looks at the subconscious. And it is the subconscious that is the key to your life, basically. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you're asking, will this be beneficial for me if I do this, for example? And a lot of it, your value system will be able to answer you, but sometimes it's like, is this the right time right now to pursue this and that, for example? So, situation, this is what's so often blocking. It can also be what is kind of creating the situation as well. That's the second position. Third is advice. And if you get negative card as advice, that's usually also to look into a belief system as well. Then it is subconscious, and when you get very positive card in the subconscious, then that means that your mind is ready for it. You have the right beliefs and program. But see, we got kind of negative in advice, so that can mean that with this high priestess, a very powerful high priestess, it's almost like she's gonna. It could mean that there's something to do with intuition and psychic abilities, but here with Five of Pentacles, maybe there is a little bit of fear of using abilities because maybe they've been punished in a past life or something like that. So you have to look at it as if it's a story. It's a story that you have to put all the pieces together, but sometimes a positive situation is created by a negative belief because a fear sometimes is a strong motivator. And sometimes a positive belief creates a negative situation because when we want to be very helpful, when we want to, Five of Pentacles, sometimes with Five of Pentacles, people really want to help others because they are so in the service role, like they really want to serve, but they have to look a little bit at their worthiness issues. Are you doing it because you feel sort of obligated too much? So the Celtic Cross will analyze you, and then you look at, past, future, then you're looking at seeker, the other person. So it could be that if you're asking about a person, they will show up in the 8th position, or it can also be your environment. Then it is surprises. So the devil in the surprise means it's a fear. A situation will show you what your fear is, and it could be someone who is exploitative as well that's coming in as a surprise, and it was like a big shock maybe to you. Then Three of Cups is outcome, and Three of Cups, is a very happy card. So ultimately, the High Priestess will be able to turn a situation around, and it can mean that they're able to bring, people who are a bit isolated into a group, for example. That could be the answer. So if you wanted, if you're asking about a person, for example, then it could be someone who feels very left out. If you're asking about a career, it could be actually your career like part of your career, even though it's not in any kind of like service necessary role. It is that element of taking care of people that's part of it, and that will feel really good for the seeker to be able to do that. And it can also lead to a lot of other positive things because it creates a very positive work environment. For example, if you're asking about love and relationship, it could mean reaching out to someone that maybe you haven't spoken to for a while, and it's going to be a reconnection that will lead to lots of social interactions and things like that. But it can also just be, if you're doing a general layout, you look at what numbers showed up the most, what groups showed up the most. This is what I teach in the course. So, for example, there was a lot of Major Arcana cards. So it's actually mostly Major Arcana cards. There was a few minor, but it was out of 10 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so half a major. But remember, only 22 Major Arcana cards and 56 minor. So when you get more of a suit that there's less of, or we got 50-50, but there's less Major Arcana cards overall in the deck, it means something. It means that there's a lot of destiny involved, and the destiny, this is often a lot of pre-planning, so it's something that was meant to happen for something else to happen. And the reason for that, if you look at the second card, it has something to do with a person, realization around a person, and also realization around that the seeker knows something about themselves and how they relate to a person or even a situation as well. Because King of Cups is your best friend, And it can mean falling in love with your best friend. So if it was a relationship, like a love reading, it could mean that you got feelings for your friend, basically. Or if you're asking if someone has a crush on you, it could mean that basically they're telling you you have a friend who has a crush on you. So you can see a lot with the Celtic cross. If you want to manifest love, for example, you will see the programs if you're manifesting. So let's say you're getting the death card in subconscious and you're manifesting love. Well, it can mean that you're manifesting partners you can let go of, because maybe you have a fear of commitment. So you have to look at the other cards as well, but it ends up usually lining up. And look at the 8th position, because the future partner shows up in the 8th position. You have to look at all the positions, but there's certain positions that really will jump out at you when you do this kind of thing. So if you get the Hierophant in the 4th position, it is it can mean that you're manifesting a marriage. But let's say you do reversal and you get Hierophant reverse, it can mean that you're manifesting, like let's say you're saying you want a husband or a wife, and you're manifesting someone else's husband or wife. So have a look if it's upright or reversed. Look at the numbers that repeats itself the most. Number 1 wants to be competitive and ambitious. Number 2 wants to be in pair, relationship oriented. Number 3 is luck, fame, communication. Number 4 is stability, commitment, the home. Number 5 is drama, freedom, and movement. 5 is in the grid, in the middle of all the other numbers. So it feels a little bit squeezed. That's why it's always seeking freedom. It feels easily trapped, and when it shows up in your reading, like a lot of 5s, it can mean that the seeker feels a little bit claustrophobic where they are, and they are pushing in all kinds of directions to try and create more freedom in their lives, but sometimes that turns into drama. If you see knights with the 5s, it means that there will be some breakthrough. There will be some doors opening and they can create freedom in their lives, or a new situation that makes them feel like they have, more excitement in their lives. 6 is a parental number. It also wants to be boss. 7 is a spiritual number. It's also the lone wolf. 8 is authority and business. 9 is old soul and humanitarian. So you can see, if they're asking about, if they're asking about relationship, and you see there's a lot of like say they are in a relationship and there's a lot of 5s in the layout, then you know that they're being very, they feel trapped and stuck. So you have to then be, if you're reading for someone, to help them maybe see the positives in their situation, so they don't end up creating a situation that maybe wrecks their lives in some way. Death and judgment can speak of near-death experiences, and judgment can mean that if it's a relationship, it can mean that the relationship that nearly ended but got saved in the last minute. If you get the Fool and judgment, then it's like a fast-forward movement. So if it is, if you're manifesting love, for example, it means you'll have no fear. You will just go all in, basically. And it can also mean a divine intervention when you need it the most. So that's more the spiritual meaning. But when you read with the purpose that you want to have some a little bit of control in your life, basically, not by being controlling, but to understand yourself. So you understand your own motives. You understand that, okay, I'm in some kind of transit right now. That's why all the 5s are showing up, because I have a transit. I'm going through a transit. Like, I don't do astrology, but if you looked at the astrology, you'd see a transit that creates a situation where you feel like you just want to move to the other side of the world. You want to break up with someone, or fight with someone, or quit your job, but it's a transit. The 5s shows up in tarot cards during a period when we feel like that. So if we have a bit of self-awareness, and it's like, okay, this is not like, I mustn't like throw everything away because I'm going through this upheaval internally. The cards telling you the best way to use the cards is actually for it to tell you what's in your mind, for you to heal yourself. It's actually much better than fortune telling, because fortune telling, the cards will also tell you what you really, really want as well. And then you can ask, is what I want to my benefit? Because sometimes we want things that will be to our detriment. But then you have to look at the subconscious. You have to look at the advice and the block and all of it. You have to read it with a lot of discernment and a lot of maturity. And once I did this for a friend of mine, and she got the death card, and that was her fear, that she was afraid of changing. So once she realized it was there, she completely changed her mindset about it, because it didn't serve her at all to have that belief there. And then she went and did it. But the tarot will tell you if you have a block, a fear, a stubbornness, you know. The Vision Quest, the Dream Time will do exactly the same thing. So it's about self-development more than fortune telling. Yes. Guys, thank you so much for being on my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. That will help Tarot stay online. So yes, love you so much, guys. Bye.